Reverend Karen Russo, MBA, is the award-winning author of The Money Keys, Unlocking Peace, Freedom, and Real Financial Power. Who has read the book? Yes. Who loves it? Yes. It's called The Money Keys, Unlocking Peace, Freedom, and Real Financial Power. So she's endorsed by her teachers, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, with a foreword by Bob Proctor. Karen was honored to be asked by Sharon Lecter, renowned financial literacy expert, to be a featured contributor to Think and Grow Rich for Women. Karen published the Grow Yourself, Grow Your Wealth, Prosperity Practices for Faith and Focus Pocket Guide, and is the creator of the 21-day Spiritual Money Jumpstart and the comprehensive Money Momentum Master Training. Karen has appeared on TV, Good Morning Arizona, Sonoran Living, the WABC TV New York, in the Arizona Republic, in Phoenix Women's Magazine, and has been a featured columnist in the Science of Mind magazine. Yeah. Now, Karen's spiritual journey began in the 12-step recovery program, and her education continued in decades of studying with Dr. Michael Beckwith at the Agape Center. She has a master's in consciousness studies from the Holmes Institute and graduated ministerial school in 2004. She served at the New Vision Center here in Phoenix, right here, with Dr. Michelle Madrano as a staff minister for more than 10 years, receiving her religious science ordination in 2007. Karen's signature spiritual money mastery framework is unique. She blends her experience and expertise as an ordained minister and as a corporate sales and training professional into messages and offerings that help business owners, coaches, healers, creative professionals, and spiritual seekers activate their powerful potential and jumpstart financial freedom. Now, those are all great reasons why we would have asked Reverend Karen to please come and speak with us today. And more importantly, she's the beloved part of our community. And please help me welcome our beloved Reverend Karen Russo.
And beyond. So let us grow our abundance consciousness so that we expand our capacity to receive, we grow our generous giving, and we more vibrantly express the spiritual truth of who we are, individually and collectively. How does that sound? Yes! It sounds good. And I am so honored to be here at the New Vision Center, and I want to thank Reverend Karen Einhaus and Reverend Leslie Goodwin, and of course, Marty Stevens and the Stewardship Committee, the whole community. It's beautiful to be here. And I think about stewardship as principles, pledges, and plans. So it's a month where the community is going to dive deep into the spiritual principles of abundance. Yes, we are going to set financial intentions for our contribution to the New Vision Center vision and mission, and we're going to support the Leader Council and the New Vision Center in planning for 2024. And I think it's helpful. We've got folks that are new. This message may be something you share with others. I think it's helpful for us to get some context. The New Vision Center is part of the Centers for Spiritual Living. And Centers for Spiritual Living is based on a 100-plus-year-old faith tradition, the science of mind, or religious science, founded by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And many of you know this. Science of mind is a correlation, an integration of the best of religious thought, its philosophic, and its scientific, metaphysical principles. So about 100 years plus world. So what that means is there are some religions where there is a well-funded central entity that can fund and plant works in places. In our situation, We have a central group that is both virtual and a little bit of brick and mortar, but the financial flows are, we, as the New Vision Center, we are, in the 12th step they say, self-supporting through our own contributions. You get it, right? If we have a dream, we fund and we execute that dream. So our financial flows are here, and we give thanks for the 100% of what we receive, and we are a tithing community. We give a tenth to places and causes and people that inspire us, including we give some of our financial good to Centers for Spiritual Living. So it's just helpful to be like, look at us, look at us. We are 30 years in, through ups and downs and different buildings and different things. We are doing the deal. We are funding our vision and mission and doing it together. Yes, yes, yes. And so the theme that came through here for us for this month is, it's the yes and beyond. What would it be for us to take our ideas of abundance and go beyond? What is abundance? Abundance is not an amount. It's not the opposite of lack. It's not the solution to a problem. Abundance isn't relief from bad circumstances. Abundance is a spiritual quality. And because it's a spiritual quality, it means every attribute of the divine. So abundance is an infinite, ever-present, ever-creative reality. And we have a wonderful idea here that abundance is liberty. So we'll begin with Dr. Ernest Holmes' quote. And he says, in the demonstration of abundance, we seek to realize liberty. And this quote comes from a passage that has been inspiring me deeply. It's in the back of the Science of Mind, 488 to 490, and it's Dr. Ernest Holmes vibing with Plotinus and Emerson, and a symbolic interpretation of the letter of Paul to the Corinthians, and probably some of you will be familiar with the phrase, we go from glory to greater glory. So Dr. Holmes says, in the demonstration of abundance, we seek to realize liberty, the freedom whereby God proves its absoluteness. This is done not by meditation upon limitation, but by contemplating plenty, abundance, success, prosperity, and happiness. We are part of the divine glory, and when our thought is turned from limitation to greater glory, we embody it. Yeah, abundance is liberty. And I can hear some of you saying, yeah, but have you seen the price of gas and groceries? Yeah, but how am I going to pay my rent? Yeah, but what about the medical bills? Yeah, but what about, there are so many people who are unhoused here in the Phoenix Valley. Yeah, but, and I want to tell you, I get it. I get it. If we look out upon our world, and with all due respect to Ernest Holmes, 100 years ago, there were 2 billion people on the planet. Now there's 8 billion. There's 8 billion people, and yes, there's been tremendous improvements in technology and opportunity and all of that, and people suffer. If we look at our world, in terms of abundance, we have people who are starving. We haven't been able to figure out how to have energy sources that don't rob the planet of its very nature. We have so much strife and so much challenge around sharing and giving and being abundant. And for the people that are new, this is going to get more hopeful. Okay, so just know, we're going to take it up. And we have got to recognize that going unchecked, this is a den of density. As human beings, blobs of flesh with mental thoughts, apparently we have something like 80,000 thoughts every day, 90% of which are repetitive, and 75% of which are negative. And I sometimes feel like I have done my quota and yours too, like, right? So left unchecked, the experience of abundance is one big yeah, but. Left just looking at the facts and circumstances and our emotional and mental reactions to them, it is challenging to rise up into abundance. And as you know, here it comes. It's possible. And it's only possible if we engage, not deny, not pretend, but we engage with our circumstances with the point of view of a spiritual point of view. And a spiritual point of view is not just psychological relief or positive thinking. A spiritual point of view is remembering the infinite truth of our oneness with something greater. It's a yes, this is happening, and something greater is possible. Now, I want to say that it is hard to do this sometimes around money and wealth. And one of the reasons for that is there's a lot in our consciousness and in our experience that has money and wealth and financial good on a somewhat linear time frame, right? We've got to be very attentive to the past, looking at all of what has happened in the past, because it's going to determine all the trends of what could happen into the future. And while that is very useful for a lot of financial models, it can be a trap for us. If we over-focus on our financial past, what can sometimes happen is I start to look at the bankruptcy, the debt, the divorce, the job loss, and I feel shame and upset, maybe guilt and anger. I was a victim or I was the villain, and it can weigh heavy. And if we over-focus on the future and we only can imagine what could happen, it's like this glaring light of worry and fear that this contingency, this bad thing, this might happen. And with that dynamic, the weight of the past, the fear of the future, then all we can get in the present moment is just a little bit of relief. Do you relate to that dynamic? Yes. So our spiritual practice is always about expanding our experience of the present moment, because the present moment is where all the magic is. It's the only place we can live. It's the only place we can tune into something greater. It's the only place where we can make decisions. And I'm so honored, Reverend Karen, we decided to read my whole beautiful biography, and you kind of go like, wow, yeah. Hearing all of that, I would have to say, over these last 20 years, teaching spiritual principles about money, there are two things that distinguish those who are able to sustain a spiritual experience with their money. And number one is they and we and you and I, we take 100% responsibility for our money story. And of course, for those of you that know the commitments of conscious leadership, it's conscious leadership commitment number one, 100% responsibility. So what that means is, rather than lingering in the upset of the past, we use practices, forgiveness, affirmation, compassion, and love. And we bring that pain of the past into wisdom, lessons, insight that we can have right with us. And instead of being upset about a nervous future, we use prayer, meditation, visioning, gratitude, and we come into this beautiful place of inspiration. So if you would with me, we're going to do this little mudra with our hands, and the folks who are at home, of course, as well. So take the hand that's on this side, like you were mirroring me, and watch your neighbor, but just bring the experience of your money past into a wisdom that you can hold, and bring the upset that could be about the future and pull it in and bring it as inspiration. You look like a bunch of beautiful, bountiful Buddhas right now. So just feel that little moment where it's like, here in the present moment, I'm 100% responsible. I can tell a money story about potentiality. All right, good. So shake that out a little bit. Thank you for that. So yes, the present moment is where the It's where all the love and the possibility of our abundance is. And one of the things that happens is when we've expanded our present moment, and I'm honored, I see Jeff Miller, our New Vision Center treasurer, is here, and he gave us a wonderful teaching in his recent videos. He said, let us be peaceful and joyful when we give. When we're in the present moment and we've done our spiritual practice, then our giving becomes something we do from a place of inspiration. And it's also the place, I'm going to build on a theme that our ministers have been sharing with us. When we're 100% responsible for our money story, we move from being a watcher or a consumer or just a student, and we move into a place of what I would call spiritual money leadership, where we say, you know what? I'm going to lead the group. I'm going to create an idea. I have this thought, if we did this, this, and this in my own personal life, we could save money and have more energy efficiency. Or, you know what? Here's an idea for a gig, and it could help me move beyond my idea of a fixed income. I could do the tax thing this way. We start to access the ideas and the creativity of how we can go beyond. We start to be the people who are going to show up on November 11th with cash and generosity. We start to become even more sustained in our individual financial lives and, of course, for all of us. So we move from the yeah, but. It's good to know what your yeah, buts are. We move into the yes, and. And the divine scale, it's ever ascending. And that's why you'll see tons of spirals in all of our imagery here for Stewardship Month. How do we ascend and tap into an even bigger, more timeless idea of the divine? So I want you to think about your capacity to know that you are a timeless being. Have you ever had a memory that felt so real, it felt like you were back there at that time? Like you had, sometimes it can happen with a smell or a sound or a music lyric, and all of a sudden you're brought to a place in the past and it feels like you're really there. Have you all had that? Yes. Have you ever had a dream where something's going on and it feels so real, and then in the dream you have a moment of what's called lucid dreaming, where you wake up and you go like, ooh, I'm dreaming. Lately I've been packing suitcases in my dreams, just dun, dun, dun. But I know it's dreaming, but it makes me go like, oh, something's going on another plane of existence. Have you ever had a moment where it's deja vu? You visit somewhere and all of a sudden you're like, wow, it feels like I've been here before. Or somebody else just said something and I feel like we just had that conversation. Have you ever had that? Yeah. These are all moments of tapping into the timeless nature of breaking down this very dense and very common and very ingrained idea that we're sacks of flesh with lots of thoughts, just trying to get some percentage of them to be more positive. We're more than that. And I had an experience recently where I got to feel and experience something that reminded me of the timeless. So we have a couple of slides. The first is, this is the step pyramid in Egypt, and that's our happy tour group. And this is one of the wonderful Egyptian pyramids. And this is a place, if you go to Egypt or Sedona or South America or Bali or go to wonderful places around the world, you can see creations that are just magnificent. They're wonders. And part of why they're wonders is, how did the ancient people create this pyramid? And especially we ask how could that possibly have happened if what we think is that, well, in the past, the people of before were lower in their capacity than we are, and we're up here, the apex of human expertise and accomplishment. So if we think that, it's really amazing that these people of the past could create something like this. But I will tell you, it started to break down for me because we had an Egyptologist who was very committed to explaining. He was great. Very proud of Egyptian heritage. The Egyptians are workers. We have a long history of creativity and excellence. But we also had a super esoteric spiritual leader with us who put the woo in the woo-woo. This guy was way out there. And so we got, and it wasn't we were told, it was questions. What if there was another explanation of how something like this could happen? We also went near the temples of Saqqara. We went to these wonderful underground, and they call them tombs. So we see an image of, this is a group of us standing, feeling the vibration of these amazing sarcophagi. They're 6 feet high, 6 feet wide, 12 feet long. There's dozens of them. They're exactly the same. Precision cuts on the granite and the stone. The tombs themselves weigh 40 tons. The lids weigh 20. So yeah, maybe the ancient people used ropes and pulleys to move them along, and maybe they took the sand away to make them go up and down, and maybe something else is possible. Maybe there's technology in the past that uses sound or energy that could have done some of this. Maybe there are peoples of other dimensions that could have been involved. Maybe my thinking has to go beyond my current ideas. It was interesting, they called them tombs because maybe they were filled with the mummified large bulls who were honored by the Apis people. Or maybe these were where spent fuel rods from an earlier nuclear power experiment were. I mean, I'm not telling you you have to believe something. I'm telling you, I didn't just think about it. I could feel this vibration of something magnificent. And so, as we close this image, I want you to start to think about, how could you stretch your experience of time and space and possibility in your life this month? Are you going to watch a movie about the multiverse, or listen to a podcast about quantum healing, or you're in the library and you're researching all the cool stuff that's coming back from this telescope from 13 billion years ago or in front in terms of energy and information? What can you do to stretch out of a way of thinking about yourself? We all have our yeah buts. So I'm going to share a little bit about what one of mine was that was driving this experience. I didn't realize it, but I was starting to pick up a yeah but that said, well, I'm getting into my 60s. Life goes like this. I just hope my portfolio can earn an incremental amount that'll stave off inflation, and I'll only, lose so much muscle tone and wear very sensible shoes, and this'll be what's gonna happen. And I had a little bit of an idea about my life. I didn't even realize it. I'd sort of retired from some of this and sort of retired from some of that. I came back after this trip and a couple of other experiences to this whole idea of, hey, it's not over. It's not over. I will wear shoes that are beyond any possibility. Right? I will explore things that I haven't explored before. I didn't realize my abundance idea around energy, possibility, and contribution had gotten a little bit too linear, a little bit too my past, like I thought I was farther along on the line, instead of realizing I'm in the present moment just like we all are. So I don't know if this is the month of fabulous shoes, or I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out. But what I want to invite very deeply is that each and every one of us tune in. What are the things that are representing a yeah, but for me that would prevent me from taking a class, reaching out to meet a new friend, trying something new financially, participating in a new way, stepping into one of the roles here at New Vision Center? Any kind of yeah, but how can you bring it into the present moment, have your spiritual practice anchor you in truth, and then expand your ideas of what's possible? I think there's magnificent things in store for us. I'm certain of it. And when we do that, what happens is we see the world differently. So we have an Ernest Holmes quote here to tie this together. He says, "The world is saturated with divinity, immersed in reality, and filled with possibility. We must take this divine possibility and mold it into present actuality in everyday experience. The infinite surrounds us and awaits us, and we must be the one who molds it." And you know, I mentioned that it's freedom, liberty, that is the theme of abundance, right? So that means it's a freedom from being pulled down by the past or any old ideas. It's a freedom to be creative in the present moment. And it's also a freedom in our identity. And this came strong with me. You know, if we had a cosmology that said, there is a God in the sky who might get mad, might get jealous, who's watching your behavior, and there's a power below that could tempt you into bad behavior. I want to be respectful here. If that was the cosmology, there's an absolute beautiful sense of responsibility one has to elevate your behavior, to live in alignment with your values, to repudiate what is bad or evil. That's a certain level of responsibility, and I respect that. And there are many beautiful traditions that have that kind of a model. That's not what we're saying here, though. What we're saying is there's an infinite presence that is everything, that it is love and power and beauty and wholeness, that you have never been separated from it, that all that you are, all that I am, is made of it. And therefore, our responsibility is not to please or escape the wrath of any other deity. Our responsibility is to live in alignment with it. That is a different kind of liberty. That's the essential nature of our teaching. It is a free will teaching. And so I honor each and every one of you, whatever your path is in your own individual financial life, and I honor and hold with such respect that New Vision Center for 30 plus years has been with a group of people who freely choose to be here, creating something magnificent together. So there's an and beyond to go to. Let us go together. Let us go together. Peace and blessings. All right. Okay. So let us take this beautiful inspiration into prayer. So how good it is for us to come together in abundance and liberty, to come together with our hearts open and our minds wide, wide, wide to the spiritual truth that each and every one is an expression of that one, timeless, power-filled, infinite, love, abundance, beauty, freedom, joy, peace, power, that this great one infinite presence, it is the truth of me, each, all. And in that awareness, I speak a word. I speak the word that says, yes, we go beyond any small ideas we have of ourselves and our abundant possibilities. And I claim for us an individual deepening of our capacity to reveal abundance and a collective expansion so that we become greater and greater receivers, givers, and revealers of truth. How beautiful it is for us to come together in this way to reveal the truth of who we are and to benefit the world, to be about the business of creating and revealing a world that works for everyone because we are knowing and remembering who we are. I give great thanks that this prayer is acted upon by law, and gratefully, gratefully, we let it be. We know that God is good, and together we say, and so it is.